Hey, good evening, folks. Welcome to the Let's Go Fishing Show. And as you can see, I'm not under arrest, or at least right for the moment, anyway. They may change their mind here. I don't know. Got Mr. Brad Daugherty and Barry Beard here with me tonight, and Barry's the boater safety.
That's what district boating officer for my district.
Okay.
12 county district.
12 counties. Dadgum. Okay. Anyway, these gentlemen are here with us tonight. We're going to talk about boater safety. And if I can get any kind of fishing reports out of them, I'm going to do that too. So we're glad to have them. We're always happy to cooperate with TWRA on anything and everything because, you know, they're the guys that's out there on the water with us and trying to keep us all safe and keep everybody legal. So I'm going to let you guys get started, and we'll just tell us what's going on, what the deal is, what you want to talk about. And I do have one thing here in just a minute. Dylan, when will you be ready to put those pictures up? Got two of them right now. Tony, if you don't care, Tony Gallagher, why don't you go ahead and call in and tell us about the crappie? These guys want to know too. I'm sure they're wanting to catch some, and we'll get those pictures up while you're calling in, and then at the end of the show, if there's some people want to ask you guys some questions,
sure,
we'll take some phone calls with that. So we get Tony to call in and give us a report on the crappie fishing. Now he stays out on them crappie. Tony Gallagher, he's got some pictures. He fished that crappie tournament down there what weekend before last on Watts Bar, the church tournament they had. I think they had about 20, almost about 30 boats, 20 something, maybe close to 30 boats in it. Good. And he's got some pictures of some fish. They won big fish. And
great.
We'll let him tell the story right here. Yeah. Hello.
What's up,
Hey, Tony. Your fishing license is good, ain't it?
No, I don't have mine. I'm not the fish. Of course I do.
Okay.
I've checked Tony a couple times this year already.
Brad said he's checked you a few times. You've always had them.
Yeah, I've talked to him a few times.
Yeah. Anyway, we're putting those pictures up. Give us the two you got, Dylan, and then by then you ought to have the other one up. Tony can fill us in on what's going on. Okay. Is that the ones that you caught in the tournament?
Yeah.
All right. And now tell us the story, Tony, about that deal.
Well, we had big fish that weighed right close to 3 pounds.
Oh, wow.
But first place was 14 pounds. I can't remember who the person was that had it. Second place was 14. And third place was 13.
Uh-huh.
And then there was two. Us and one more had 12 pounds, and it dropped way down after that. There was 20 boats in it.
20 boats. Okay. Okay. But you guys won big fish with that nearly 3 pound, I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
There was a few more 2-pounders in there, but
Yeah. Now, what's that? When did you catch that mess right there?
we'd go last Sunday.
Week ago last Sunday. Okay.
We caught 52, but we only had 27 keepers.
27 keepers. 10-4. But you only kept, well, you was allowed 27, you and your buddy, wasn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, 15 apiece.
We fished 10 hours. We was trying to get 30, but we couldn't.
Huh. Well, and you caught how many?
27 keepers. We caught 52 altogether.
52 altogether. Man, alive.
A lot of little fish.
That's good. Yeah, sure was. The picture he didn't get was with your granddaughter, and hopefully he'll have that up here in just a second.
That's okay, 'cause she won't be able to see it tonight. No way.
She won't. Well, I want to get it. I want to get it up there because it's a good picture. But now,
Okay.
listen, give us some some details on, is the crappie moved in shallow for you, or are you still out deep?
It's still about 24 foot deep. We count all of it.
24 feet, dang.
We did see some people last week catching about 6 foot deep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, because the reports I've been hearing is, heck, the guys are catching them shallow. 3 foot
There's
of
a
water.
couple of them, a couple of big ones we had about 10 foot deep there.
Uh-huh. Well,
Their tails were a little bloody.
okay, so there are some coming in and spawning then right now.
Right.
Okay. Well, that sounds pretty good. He said I didn't get him that picture of your granddaughter, so we'll have it up next week.
That's okay.
Oh, shucks, I hate that. I thought I sent them every one, and I looked through my.
Where's Mike at?
He's sitting over here in the background.
Is he fishing in?
No, he's looking at them pictures. He's gone back in there now. Look at them again. No, he's right over here. He'll be wanting to go crappie fishing now. You know how he is.
I know how he is too. I'm ready to go again too.
Yeah.
Let's hope you ain't out of minute.
I heard that. I know them things is gonna eat real good. That's what I got to get with Mike there. I got to get a mess of fish.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything particular you can tell us about the trip? I know you all fishing like Mike, straight up and down with minnows.
That's the way we fish, is straight up and down.
Yeah, I hear you.
I like that floater.
Yeah, shoot far. I like to catch them on that floater.
I like that tight line.
Yeah. He's definitely a difference there. Anyway, hey, what area of the lake was you in? Was you up Tennessee, down mid lake?
I have it between Kingston and Rockwood.
Okay, that's a good deal. That's a good deal. The guys that won the tournament, Tony, did you see them during the day?
I don't know. I didn't know some of those. I didn't know some of them. I just knew they was having a tournament. We fished in it.
Yeah. Okay. 10-4. 10-4. Well, I wish you'd get on this.
So Kelly Barnett, he fished in it. Jeff Walker fished in it. I know those two guys. I used to work with them.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, congratulations on your big fish win. Man, when you dealing with them crappie, you're just a few ounces.
Yeah, no, I had one about 2 pounds. Tried to slip in the boat, it fell off.
Yeah. That might have put you in third place anyway.
Yeah, I know it. I've heard about it all week.
I heard that.
Yeah, there's a picture.
Yeah.
That's good fish.
There you go.
There she is.
Yeah, there she is. All right.
Cool.
Well, she got her.
That right there is Bo's great granddaughter.
Yeah. But she's wearing her gloves. You going out to
Yeah.
get, huh?
And she didn't want to grab hold of that glove though. I told her to hold the big one. She said, "No, I'm gonna hold the small one."
Yeah, I heard that. Well, listen, we're glad you sent us the pictures, and let us know next week what's going on.
All right, thank you.
All right, see you, Tony.
See you, buddy.
All right, bye-bye. Okay. All right, gentlemen, where you want to start out at?
There's so much to cover, really. You think about it.
Yeah.
We got perfect time of the year. Fishing's heated up.
Mm-hmm.
I've been seeing a lot of recreational boaters out.
Right.
It's that time of the year was kind of like a perfect storm in a sense. Like, we want to bring light to that. We have a lot of guys night fishing right now.
Yeah.
It's almost warm enough at nighttime. Almost. Last few weeks it had been kind of cool, but it's going to warm up enough. We have a lot of recreational boaters out at night. And if they're crossing paths, we want them to be safe,
Agreed. Yes, sir. That night fishing is let me tell you my experience. Years back, nowadays when you go on the lake at night, there's a lot of lights in the background.
Mm-hmm.
and you got your back running light on, and it blends right in. My wife and I were there in the mouth of not Blue Springs, but Bayside. And this boat came from across the lake over there, and I know they was hollering at me. I was trying to I was flashing my lights off and on and everything else, trying to screaming and hollering. And buddy, I'm just glad she was laying in the bottom of the boat asleep, because if she knew what was going on, the spray off of his pontoons hit the back of my boat.
Really?
How close it was.
Wow.
And I was on the trolling motor trying to get out of it. What's that? Can't hear him?
Okay.
All right. Make sure your green light's on your battery pack. Nope, it's yellow. Hold
Not
on.
green, it's yellow.
All right, hold on just a second. Let's fix this up. There we go.
Okay.
Now we can. I guarantee
All
you're
right.
hearing me. But that story there, just like I said, anymore, there's a lot of lights on the shoreline, and your boat backlight blends right in with it, and it's very easy to get mistaken for a street light, porch light, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Until
It
it's,
is.
yeah. So and there's more and more houses on the water all the time anyway. Nowadays, and but that's just the point. You really got to pay attention because it'll fool you.
We tell people the running lights, they do mean something.
Mhm.
There's a red and a green and a white light, and they all have a meaning.
Yeah.
I have some guys that replace those red and green lights with like a blue light
Mm-hmm.
or a white light just because it looks cool. They
Yeah.
don't understand that the red and green light actually do mean
Means
something.
something. Yeah. Yeah.
It's depending on what direction
So
the
you-
boat's traveling and things like that. So,
Yeah.
It's something you really need to know what you're looking at, know the river, or know the body of water you're on. Really,
Yeah.
if you're on Watts Bar, know how high the water is, how low it is.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know all that stuff before you go out. And I went out last weekend. I took my boy out and my dad to Chickamauga night fishing.
Mm-hmm.
We got out there. It was probably 8 o'clock, still daylight, and actually the nav lights quit working on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
So we spent 45 minutes fixing those.
Right.
Had trolling motor quit working on the boat.
Oh man.
All the while, my boy actually caught a crappie off the side of the boat. So, actually, and it ended up being a good night. But you have things happen. We wasn't prepared for any of that. So, preparation, what I tell people, starts at home.
Mm-hmm.
Starts in the driveway.
Yeah.
And make sure you have your boat ready, and make sure you know where you're going. Tell everybody where you're going. So, a lot of things to consider, but it's just only going to get worse through the summer when all the recreational boaters get out with the
Agree.
the bass fishermen, the crappie fishermen, and things like that.
Yeah.
So we just want to make sure everybody's aware of that, and just practicing safe boating.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty simple stuff. It's common sense. Most of it is.
Right. Right. I agree with that, and like you say, there's a few jet skis out right now, but in a few weeks the lake will be
Absolutely.
covered.
I'm starting to see wake boats get out.
Yeah.
Things like that. So
Yeah.
there's not very many, but like I say, it's going to get worse.
Oh,
They
yeah.
put off a lot of big wakes, so
Yep.
you need to be aware of that.
I'd like to add to Barry's safety point, it does begin at home. And I would recommend putting some extra bulbs in your boat in case your all-around white light goes out. Fuses, just in case something like that. If that was to go out, you can actually fix it on the water because those are your lifeline at night, is your lights, your navigation lights.
Absolutely.
And they don't take up a lot of space, those bulbs, fuses. Just get you a little Tupperware bowl, put it
Yeah.
right there in the bottom of your rod box, and maybe a screwdriver or a pair of pliers, and then if you find out that it's blown, then change it real quick, and you're on your way.
Yeah.
So, and then that's just going to keep somebody from running right over top of you. So,
Agreed with that. That's for sure. Those little things like that can mess up a good fishing trip.
Well, like
Absolutely.
having your batteries, actually good batteries, that's the number one thing.
Yeah.
If those don't work, nothing will work,
That's right.
So
Exactly.
yeah, there's a lot of things to think about. I have a checklist that I go through. Now I failed to go through it last weekend. That's why all this stuff happened to me, and I was unprepared for it. I have a checklist I try to go through, but as you know, all the time, you kind of get cocky and think that you know what you're doing all the time. You just overlook that stuff, and you really can't overlook the small details. You shouldn't.
Right.
But make your checklist, go through it. Y'all go through check your bearings on your trailer, check your lights, hook up lights, batteries, nav lights, life jackets, fire extinguisher, because they'll discharge or they'll go bad over time. So I mean, when you haul a boat, knocks it around, it could go bad. So a lot of things to consider, but they're simple things.
Yeah.
Very simple and relatively inexpensive. As far as having the right equipment on your boat, and we do check that. We do a lot of safety inspections, I guess you'd call it, through the year, and we'll check quite a bit of boats just to see if they got their life jackets, fire extinguishers, throw cushions. A lot of people don't understand you have to have a throw cushion,
Right.
which is the flat, usually the flat one with two handles that you toss overboard to somebody. Your TN numbers, that ain't got nothing to do with safety, I suppose, but that gets people stopped most of the time, is if they don't have their registration numbers visible.
Right. Right.
That'll get you stopped pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys use binocular a lot when you're on the water, keep you from running yourself ragged, I guess.
Absolutely.
So you can just look and see if a guy's got.
Well, we
his
don't want
number.
to stop you if we don't have to.
Yeah, if everything looks
if
good,
you're
yeah.
having a good time, we don't want to mess your good time up,
Right.
but we want to make sure you're going to be safe.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Speaking of that, I just bought my boat renewal Monday, and it runs out on the 11th. Now, if I get my sticker back in time, that'll be great. But if you were, say, I'm on the water on the 12th, and you pull up to check me, as long as I've got that receipt where I've paid for them,
Absolutely.
I'm okay.
Yes.
Even though it's outdated,
Sure.
it run out, but I've got proof of that I have bought them. I just hadn't got them in the mail yet, and I may get them this week.
Yeah, as long as, like if you buy a new boat, for instance, before that boat touches the water, in Tennessee, it has to be registered, right?
Right.
And when you register it, you go to the clerk's office and you pay your money or whatever, you'll get a yellow copy where you pay your tax stuff. And if you have that, shows you send in the white copy because it's a carbon copy sheet of paper. If you have that, you get to go on a new boat. That's what we'll check for. And if you just renewed your registration, if you got proof of renewal, which is usually either receipt like a license receipt, or a picture of it, is fine with me because that's the world these days. They're going to phones and computers, so I have no issue with that. You may run into some game wardens that may have a problem with it, but that's officer discretion on that part of it. But for me, if you've got a proof of it, in my eyes, you're good to go.
Absolutely.
Same thing with fishing license, hunting license. If you've got proof of it, because of our online app, you can pull it up and show us that you've got it. To me, you're good to go with that.
And that app is so easy to renew your boat, buy a fishing license, even check in your turkey or deer that you kill. And it's a free download. Just go to however you get apps on your phone. It's called TWRA on the go. You download that, and like I said, very simple. If you buy your license, you can take a screenshot of it, and if we can see it, you're good to go.
I know the big complaint has been that we went to paper copies of licenses. And that's fine, I get it. It's something to be concerned about because you can run your paper copy. But if you got a phone, take a picture of your paper copy, put it back in your wallet or whatever, and you've got your copy of your license. That's all we care about.
Yeah.
We just want to make sure you got it. And if worst comes to worst, you're supposed to have it on you.
Yeah.
We can run it through a radio system. But if you got a picture of it, that's perfect.
Yeah. Good deal. I've got the paper copy of my billfold, and I'm bad habit. I throw my cell phone in the glove box so that if I fall overboard, it won't quit working. And but my fishing license is in my billfold, and I can't never remember to toss them in there to dry either.
Well, usually people's got like 3 years worth of fishing license.
Yeah.
You got to toss through them all. It takes 10 minutes to find the right fishing license. So.
Yeah.
I know, and I do too. I'm the same way. I have them up
Yeah.
for the past 5 years, probably stuffed in my wallet,
Right.
But we try to use common sense on this stuff. Like, we don't want to give nobody a hard time. We want you to enjoy yourself when you're on the water, in the woods, or whatever. But we want you to mainly we want you to be safe. That's our number one concern.
Yeah.
Is our stops based off of safety.
Right.
That's what we try to. Now, if you're fishing or hunting, we're gonna stop you. We can stop. We have the authority to stop you or check you if you're fishing or hunting. But we're just worried mainly about the safety aspect of it, especially in boating and fishing.
Right. We had Mike and I, in the wintertime, it's hard for me to get him to wear his life jacket, but and I'm bad in the summertime. I don't keep mine on constantly. But in the wintertime, I brought all the clothes that I would probably have on, about 35 pounds by the time you put your boots and all your insulated clothes on and everything. I weighed them over here one night there, and it was about 35 pounds worth. Hello, caller.
Hey, Steve, it's John Hooks.
Hey, John.
How you doing?
All right, buddy.
Hey, we're out here in Cookville working. We'll come home tomorrow. But I was calling to remind everybody about the tournament Saturday, the Memorial Tournament.
Yep.
Just do another reminder on it about that Tombola Park. $75 entry fee, $10 big fish optional, and some safe flight for 3. They'll be selling plate lunches and stuff. So I just appreciate everybody if they'd come out and help support this cause for my brother's kids and have a good showing.
Oh, I'm glad. I hope they do too, John. I'm obligated and I can't, but I would like to be there, but I do hope you have a big crowd.
Yeah, same here. Our last tournament on Mountain Hill, it took 11-2 to win.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good bag for over there.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
At 11-2 with a 4-9 kicker.
Gee. That's who won that, John?
It was Buzz and Dusty. Buzz and Dusty. Second place, I think, was Seaver and Seaver.
Uh-huh.
I think there was one.
They had 9 something or something other like that.
Wasn't there one weighed in over 10 a couple weekends ago? I think there was on Mountain Hill a largemouth over 10 something weighed in.
Sure.
Yeah. The weekend
Dang.
tournament. A buddy of mine fished it and said it was a good fish over 10.
Well,
What now?
A largemouth, I think it was 2 weekends ago maybe. One of the weekend tournaments, a guy weighed in a largemouth over 10 pounds on Mountain Hill.
I know there was one out Candy Creek on Watts Bar that was over 10 pounds.
We're starting to hear more and more of that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Yeah,
why Mountain Hill's kind of tailing behind. I'm not sure why that is.
I believe in Florida Stranger there's Watts Bar's gonna blow up here in the next year or 2, I think.
yeah. It's I think you're right, especially if they get the grass growing good.
Yeah.
For sure. John, appreciate you calling in, buddy, and like I said, I hope you have a big turnout down there Saturday.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, John. See you, buddy. Okay. Yeah. That's a memorial tournament. You know, his brother was killed in that car wreck there 4 months ago. So
Wow.
he runs that East Tennessee Bass Anglers Out tournament trail, and they do pretty good. They're doing pretty good with it, I reckon.
Good.
Good deal.
You know, this boater safety thing, like I said about weighing the clothes and stuff, in the wintertime, you know, it's really bad to be on the water without your life jacket on, and any time. But that got us to talking about life jackets. You know, let's just say, for instance, you got a pontoon boat and you got about 6 adults on there and 2 small children, and you're trying to put a life jacket on a small kid that don't fit.
You can't do that.
Huh?
I'll explain. Here's how
How does
the
that work?
law says. So you need one life jacket per person on the boat, basically. If you got 6 people, you need 6 life jackets.
Mhm.
Plus you need the throw cushion.
Okay.
If your boat's 16 feet or longer.
Right.
So we got that established. And you also, if you're 12 years old or under, you have to have a life jacket on at all times,
Mm-hmm.
unless you're anchored, of course, which is anchored,
Right.
moored, tied off to a dock or something,
Right.
or aground. So you'd run your boat up at the beach,
Beach and-
and
right,
try to
right.
get out between. So at that point, you wouldn't have to have your life jacket on if you were 12 or under. So if
Mhm.
you're 13, you're good to go.
Yeah.
You can take it off. So that's the general gist of it.
Good information. Good information.
And I know it gets hot. Like I got a boy and a girl both. The boy's 6, and the girl's 3. And it does get aggravating to wear that life jacket on.
Yeah.
I understand. And we try to use common sense with that as well. We got a lot of guys who will, of course, they're trolling around, fishing, and their boy is 5-year-old on the back of the boat with no life jacket on. And you just can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it doesn't seem like something serious, but all it takes is one time for that boy to fall overboard. And then what if he hits his head on the side of the boat, falls in, drowns? I mean, you can't. Some of this stuff, it's just one time, and you wish you would have made him wear it.
Yeah. Yeah.
My boy wears his at all times.
Yeah.
He don't like it.
Right.
My girl don't like it, but they're gonna wear it.
Yeah. Well, I
That's how
had
it
the
is.
same problem with my grandson there now, which he's a lot older and a lot bigger now. But when he was 6, 7 years old, it was just a fuss and a fight, to keep him that life jacket on in the hot weather. And it is. And you'd think that one of these manufacturers would come up with some kind of
You would
device
think.
that was comfortable in hot weather and still yet do the job.
Absolutely.
He got one of those Mustang inflatables
Sure.
for Christmas, but I'm gonna tell you, it plainly tells you got to be 16 years of age to wear the
And
thing.
the thing is, they may not
And-
go off.
That's
There's
right.
been
Well,
instances.
yeah.
I know personally, an officer got into an accident,
Mm-hmm.
and his did not just. His didn't go off.
Yeah.
I mean, if he had been knocked unconscious, he would drown.
Yeah. Well, that's, so we get the thing, he run rats it for Christmas, and we're looking at all the literature and everything, and then right there it is, black and white. He must be 16 years of age, which he'll be 16 in December, so it's still hanging on the rack.
And a lot of them list if they're not worn, they're
Yeah.
not considered a life jacket.
Yeah.
If they're laying in the boat,
Yeah.
may not be considered one.
And well, I'll tell you what, he's fishing this high school deal, and their rumor had it around the other tournaments there that they were going to outlaw those for the high school kids because there's a potential there for that thing to fail.
Sure.
If you're knocked out and it doesn't go off, you don't have nothing.
Right.
Exactly.
If you're in a boating accident and that thing fails to inflate, you just out.
That's right.
Hello, caller.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Ed, how we doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
Talking about them little kids wearing life jackets. I wish them two fellas had been up there at Douglas with me one day. This guy was putting a little V-hole aluminum fishing boat in, and tied it off. There's a little girl there. She probably just learned how to walk. And a little boy about 2.5, 3 years old. And they were standing there on that dock. And he went and drove his truck up to the parking lot and left them standing there.
Oh, Ed.
And I was close enough to say fell in or something. I could have done something. But you see, then when I went and got my boat parked and everything, this guy gets in that boat and starts putting out of there. And never did none of that life jacket on.
Yeah. Mm.
I didn't
can't
know
do
what
that.
to do. I wanted something to be done about that. That wasn't right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's well, just thankful that nothing happened. That's all we can say. Ed,
That
on
little
that.
girl, she was a baby almost.
Yeah. Gee whiz. Well, I hate to hear that kind of thing's going on, Ed, but I appreciate you letting us know.
All righty. Well, y'all hang in there. I just want to call and say it.
Well, buddy, that's
Thank you,
good.
Ed.
Oh, well, why have we got you on there, Ed? What about the fishing report?
I ain't no good. I went up there. I was like that fellow there, talking about his trolling motor wasn't working. I didn't know it, but I had about 20 yards of line wrapped around the inside of there, And Paul Shaw was sitting there talking to him. My boat wasn't cranking. I said, I can't get my boat to crank. And he goes, well, it's turning over. He said, look at your kill switch. And there was a kill switch poured right there on the floor. And I put it on there, and it sounded like a new chainsaw when I cranked it.
You done had
Totally.
it. You already had it warmed up with the kill switch off.
Oh, man, why I didn't burn my starter up.
Yeah. I hear
I
you.
caught two little largemouth, about 15 inches up there on a Carolina rig lizard. And then it got dark, and I tried to fish a little while for a smallmouth with a jig and, a couple things. And I didn't get no bites, but it was the day after the full moon, so Monday, so I should have caught some smallies, but I never did do no good.
Huh. Well, yeah, I would have thought, hey, the LY's not breaking, getting the bank up there, are they?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah, a little early yet. I mean, the cold weather in April set everything back. Right now, this moon that just passed us ought to have been the best, but the water temperature just not warm enough yet. What was the temperature, Ed?
Well, right there at full dark, it was 68.
68, man.
So it's Paul Shaw, he said there, he said, yeah, that's warmed up a lot
Uh-huh.
for a few days.
Yeah. Well, anyway, maybe we'll get them on the next go-round if it don't get too hot.
All right, man.
See you, Ed. Thank you, buddy.
Okay.
All right. You know, the life jacket thing, like I said, is something that everybody has a bad habit of not doing it, and when you need it, it's locked up in the box, or you know, and that's another thing too. Let me tell you, folks, it's nice to have those things out of the way.
Yeah.
But if you flip over and it's locked up in the storage box, you ain't gonna get it.
That's right. No, you're not.
And you know, so
Well, I've been guilty of it before. I've put my boat in, and I thought, God, them life jackets are in the back of the boat. I'm just going over here, you know.
yeah.
And I'll take off, run over there, and the whole time I'm thinking I don't feel right because I don't have my life jacket on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just like wearing your seatbelt in the truck. I mean, you need to have it on.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, at one time you don't wear it, and then, you know,
Yeah.
like they say, the number one cause of fatality in boating is drowning from not wearing a life jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, so I mean, if you could be an Olympic swimmer, but if you go in the water and hit your head on something,
Mm-hmm.
you can't tread water if you're unconscious.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Agreed. And you know, I like to take mine off when I'm fishing, but I like to have it out in the seat too. You know.
Yeah, at least have it somewhere close.
Oh, yeah.
You got to wear it all the time. If you're running, you know, on plane, probably
Yeah.
should wear it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if you're a tournament fisherman, that's the rules. When you crank the big engine, you got to have your jacket on.
Yeah.
Hello, caller.
Hey, Mike, how y'all doing?
Hey, we're doing good. What about it?
If you got Mike sitting over there hiding,
Yeah, I've got him hid. I can't let him on camera anymore.
well, I figured you would, Steve. Just a couple of questions there. On the fire extinguisher, the one that came with my boat is still in the green. It does not have an expedition date on that particular one. So as long as it's in the green, the pin's not pulled, is it still good?
That's correct. As long as you can test it or look at it. If it's yours got the gauge, so it's good. A lot of them don't have a gauge.
Okay.
They have just a way of testing it, and that little yellow pin you're talking about, you can press the green button down. If it pops back up, it's good. If it stays down, it's bad. But thankfully for him, he's got the
One
gauge.
gauge,
So,
yeah.
so it's very easy. So yeah, no. The short answer is yes, you're good. When it gets to red,
Okay.
you're not good.
What was that other question?
His mic's cutting out also.
Oh, dadgummit. We can't have that. We need to get him fixed up. Dylan, see if you
But
guys.
I caught what he told me.
Yeah. Well, you know, used to, it's spending that little extra money. Well, it costs a little bit more to buy the one with the gauge. Now you can go over and get that other one for about $10 or $12, and like you said, and you don't know with that little test button on it. But the gauge, if I spend about $20 and got one with a gauge.
A lot of times that little yellow pin will pop out,
Yeah.
and you'll lose it. It'll get lost in the boat, and then you have no way of testing it. If you push the button down, it's going to discharge.
Yeah.
So then at that point, even if your fire extinguisher is good, if I can't test it, it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's considered not having
Right.
one or having one that's not valid.
And another tip, if you leave your fire extinguisher in your boat outside, check the nozzle, because a lot of times dirt daubers get in there and bugs and build in there, and if you have a dirt dauber in there,
Yeah.
nothing's going to come out of it, even if it is good. So you need to check your fire extinguisher.
Yeah. Agreed. That's a good point. If your boat's sitting outside, you wouldn't believe the outboard motors that we've seen burn up, damaged because of the dirt daubers build a nest in that spit tube. And you know, so Mike's had to deal with that a whole lot before.
Well, that's a good point. I never thought about it. Mine says out it's covered, but I leave that extensor out to the point that I can grab it. It's not stuck in the compartment, so that's a good thing to looking for. A little bit of fishing report. Candy Creek, last 3 days. 7 one day, 12 the next, and 14 the next. All good crappies, and they're headed to the bank. The eggs are brown and mushy.
Man, that sounds good. Sounds like you're gonna eat pretty good.
Well, I hope so.
Oh, that's
I believe in 2 weeks they'll spawn out. This warm water and full moon.
yeah. You know, the last 4, 5, 6 days, 7 days has really warmed the water up, and last Thursday it was 56 degrees in the Emory section of the lake, you know, and 55, 56 degrees, and so I'm sure it's a lot warmer now, and getting warmer everywhere else. So they're going to do their thing.
Well, all Candy Creek, when I'd leave about 4 or 5 in the evening, was 70 degrees surface.
Gee whiz,
Oh, wow.
warmed up that much, man. That's great. That's great. They'll be on the bed in the tournament in the St. Jude's, I guess.
Yeah.
Wouldn't doubt
I
it.
think so.
Yeah.
But I appreciate talking with the officers there and everything.
We
and finding
appreciate
out
you.
And everything. And I really appreciate the officer telling about the lights in his jacket, because we're all human, and that makes law
Absolutely.
enforcement officers human also.
Yep.
I appreciate him
We want to
causing
get.
that on TV.
I like people to know that. I mean, I'm not just some robot out here writing tickets. I mean, I have the same problems as everybody else does when I'm out on the water in the woods. I mean, it just happens. You can't always be. It's hard to be 100% legal sometime and perfect.
Yeah.
Like, you make mistakes. There's things that happen. I mean, you know, it's just part of life. But we want people to know that too. You know, we try to use common sense and work with people. So.
Well, there's difference between people knowing that they left in that situation and getting out there and something happening,
Absolutely.
and not knowing, or maybe
Yep.
how to fix it or what to do.
Correct.
Agreed. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, I'll let y'all go. I appreciate you.
Hey, man, appreciate you calling us, buddy. See you.
Last year, we seen a lot of kids running jet skis. How old do they have to be before they can operate a jet ski?
Well, you know, you have to have boater safety in
Yeah.
the state of Tennessee.
And that's 12 years old from what I remember.
January 1st, 1989, you have to have it.
Yeah.
That's something we take very serious. We offer a lot of classes too with that. But if they don't have their boater's education, they have to have somebody that either has it
Mm-hmm.
or is exempt from it that can take immediate control of the vessel,
Yeah.
whether it's jet ski or whatever the case is.
Mm-hmm.
If they do that, they're good to go. We see a lot of kids too on Chickamauga and Watts Bar, mostly Chickamauga, operating them. But usually it's got their parents with them.
Yeah.
You know, if they don't have it, we'll pull them over and talk to them. And if they are in fact in violation, we usually try to go find the parents.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and have a talk with them about it. So we run into a lot of that. Hey, I want to add something that I've seen over the weekend quite a bit. No wake zones. I don't know what the deal is. I guess people are fishing tournaments and trying to get places, and I get it, but they're breaking these no wake zones like crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and they're there for a reason, you know.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people plowing through them. So there'll be 2 or 3 people on a boat, because they're not fishing tournaments. There's 3 of them, I guess, and they'll start the big motor, and they'll leave a guy in the front of the boat sitting on a seat, and leave a guy in the back of the boat sitting on a seat, and just plowing away.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't understand it. We've had a lot of accidents happen that way, where people fall overboard and get ran over.
Yeah.
This past year we had a fatality that happened quite similar to that. I'm on a recreational boat. One of the guys fell off the boat and got ran over.
Mm-hmm.
That situation. So just know whenever you start the big motor, I guess you could say, and take off running, don't need to have anybody up on those decks, front or back decks.
Mm-hmm.
We can, if we pull you over, if you're doing it at the speed you shouldn't be doing, if the waves are bad, if the wind's bad, we can write that's reckless operation citation. We don't want to, but if you're putting lives in danger doing it, we would, you know.
Yeah.
But I seen a lot of that last weekend. A lot of people running from spot to spot and leaving people fishing on the front and back deck sitting in their seats.
Yeah.
You know, breaking these no wake zones left and right. So something to consider. I mean, everybody knows that they're there, especially the no wake zones.
Right.
So try to be mindful of them. There's a lot of money involved put up at these marinas, and people just want to take care of their stuff, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the whole purpose of it there. You know, if you're here going to load your boat or unload your boat, and people's running by the boat ramp
Absolutely.
up on plane,
Makes it difficult.
It sure does. It aggravates you. You know, your boat's sitting there beating on the dock, and it's supposed to be idle only.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And every boat's different. I'll pull boats over that are creating waves,
Yeah.
and I'll say, hey man, you know, your boat's putting off quite a bit of waves. Well, I had it on idle. Well, that's not, your boat idles high then.
Yeah.
So you need to throw it out of gear, back in gear, and learn your boat.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, a lot of times you may be putting off a lot of wake, and either you don't care or you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It's basic courtesy.
It is.
That's
It's, all
all
it
it
is.
is.
It's like
It
jumping
is
in front of somebody that's fishing, cutting their bank off on them.
Yeah.
Same type of thing, you know. You just got to make sure you try to be mindful of that.
Yeah.
I have received numerous calls this year already of just not being courtesy fishing a brush top, and this one guy called and said the guy went between me and a brush top,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, you know, it's just courtesy.
Yeah, nothing we can do about it. It's not against the law.
Yeah.
You cut in front of somebody and fish,
Right.
but I
Right.
mean, it's just something that you just don't do, you know.
Yeah. Well, you've got to respect the fellow man, and you
You
know, everybody's got their area that they're
Sure.
fishing, and you know,
Well, it's public waters.
That's right.
Your area is everybody else's
That's,
area.
that's right. That you just don't cut between the bank and the guy fishing.
That's right.
You know, that's the. I just, you know, boy, I could tell you the stories, but I ain't
Yeah.
gonna say nothing about
Key
it.
is programmed as a line key and displayed. Thank you. Good.
Try this again. Hello, caller.
I got a question about the TN numbers. Are they transferable from one boat to another?
No, when you buy, the HIN numbers on the boat will be specific to the HIN number, I guess you could say. So if you buy a new boat, just send it in like you would normally send, you know, a new boat in. Register it, or pay sales tax, register it, and you'll get new numbers.
So they don't allow nobody to transfer from one to the other.
I don't know if they changed the numbers. I'm not tied in with Nashville as far as where the license agents or the registration goes down. But I can tell you is you need to go through the same process. You need to send in your paperwork like you would if you're just buying a boat for the first time. Whether they change the numbers, I don't know. But if
And you have the same number on 3 different boats.
no, can't do that.
You guys
No,
need to
they'd
check in on that because that's happening.
Okay.
Hmm. Well, see that number's registered to the hull number on the boat.
Yeah, there's a HIN number on the back right of the boat.
Yeah.
If you look at that HIN number, Tennessee will reference that to a TN number is what we call it, short registration number. And you can't have two HIN numbers have the same registration number.
This has been going on for over 20 years.
Well, I've never seen it, but I mean, I guess that's possible. But yeah, I mean, this is you got to tell us this stuff. So I mean, we appreciate you telling us, but we need to hear more of it because you're
I've
telling.
talked with a guy in Nashville over it, and he gave me a runaround, but it's been going on for over 20 years.
Or where's it going on at? That's what I would ask.
Tennessee.
Well, where? What body of water? Is it going on in Douglas? Or is it going
In
on
West Tennessee.
West Tennessee?
Yeah.
Well, you need to call West Tennessee on that one.
All right, so guys, have a good evening.
You do
Thank
think?
Okay, buddy. Thank you.
We're supposed to stay with that boat the whole time.
Yeah.
What's the rules on kayaks and canoes and stuff? The age people can operate them, or and all that stuff.
Most of those have no motor. There are some of the, I think the canoes that have the flat backs on them, they'll actually have a motor. Of course, if it has a motor, you have to have a boater registration or a boater education. But no, I mean, there's no specific age as far as being in the canoe or kayak. But you know, you have to have your life jacket, and you have to, at a certain age, you have to have it on, like we spoke about, 12 or under. But we're seeing a lot of that now with paddle boarders, canoes and kayakers. That's really overtaken. I mean, it's really growing fast, especially I know around Kingston area.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
They get out there after dark, they supposed to have the running lights too.
They're supposed to have a light. No, they're not supposed to have navigation lights. They have to have a light, really a white light we prefer, that they can cast a beam with, I guess you could say. But the problem, that's a good point that he brought up. What we're seeing a lot is is a lot of headlamps,
Yeah.
which is fine, but they're one directional.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going down the river and there's a boat behind you, they have no clue that it's there.
Yeah.
There's been times that I've been on the water early in the morning working different marine events like the Ironman, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a lot of volunteer workers that use canoes and kayaks. And you'll almost run over them
Yeah.
because you literally can't see them.
Yeah.
And they don't know you're coming because they can't hear you.
Yeah.
Because there's 3 or 4 other boats running around,
Yeah.
So, yeah, make sure you have I have like a lantern on the boat, which you could almost call all around white light, like a LED lantern. And if I ever take a canoe and kayak, I take it with me. You just hold it up, and it's 360 degrees.
That's
And it casts forever, 100 yards,
Yeah.
And you can see it real well. So if I were to recommend it, it's not against the law to have the headlamp, I guess, if we're talking about it that way. But it just it's starting to not make a lot of sense to me to have a light that's one directional and you got to turn, or whatever way you turn is the way the light goes.
Yeah.
So you can't turn completely around in those things a lot of times. So
Right.
you might want to think about having a lantern or some kind like that.
And my suggestion, if you're out kayaking or canoeing at night, stay out of the main channel.
Yeah.
Stay close to the bank because, like Officer Barry said, pontoon boats, they can't see you,
No.
and they'll run right over top of
That's a great point. Yeah.
So, and paddle boarders, you have to have a life jacket on the paddle board.
Yeah.
Some people, oh no, you don't. You do. You have on those paddle boards, you have to have a life jacket.
Yeah. I know Mike brought this canoe and kayaking up, and we got no problem with that, but we have run into canoes at night, and they're, boats out there running 50, 60, 70 mile an hour, and like you said, they'll have a headlamp on, but that's looking ahead, straight ahead. Behind them, nobody sees them.
Right.
And hey, they still make these little back running lights with flashlight batteries in them, and they don't weigh that much. I'd sure like to see them put
Yeah, I would too.
a white light on the back, and go ahead and keep their headlamp on too,
Yeah.
and for looking straight ahead. But it is getting more and more, and they got the right to be on there too. But man, I sure would feel bad if I run over one.
Absolutely.
I mean, it just.
And the way it's growing in popularity, there's a possibility.
Yeah. And just because it didn't have a light on.
Yep.
If you're going to be out there after dark, you need a backlight.
Absolutely.
I can't help it what kind of boat you're on. If it's floating, if it's an inner tube, it needs a light on.
Yeah.
I agree. You do.
So there's no rhyme or reason for anything
Well,
like
it's how
that
much
to
do you
happen.
value your life? Because at
That's
that
right.
point, you're putting your life and other people's lives in danger.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
agree.
It's just common sense. You should have some. It's like driving down the road. Again, I reference a lot of this stuff to being in the vehicle.
Yeah.
Would you drive down the road without your headlights on at nighttime? No, you wouldn't.
No.
So it's just,
You're just asking for it.
yeah.
And exactly right. But yeah, some kind of white light in the back of those things, folks. If you're listening to us, we'd sure like to see you have one. We don't, we're not trying to say you don't have no ride on the water or anything like that. You guys much ride on as I have, but you're putting me in a bad situation.
Absolutely.
At night. And speaking of lights, let's talk a little bit about these headlights on bass boats, pontoon boats, runabouts, especially when they're 3-4 miles up the river from me, and they turn them things on and they never cut them off.
Yep.
And I'm blinded, and I know they are too.
Yeah, sure.
So what is the rule on that? It's supposed to be a momentary off and on type
They're
situation.
called docking lights for a reason.
Okay,
When you're docking your boat,
okay.
all right, you can turn them on to look for a buoy, but you need to turn them right back
Back
off,
off.
because that red and green and
Green
white
light,
is
okay.
your navigation,
Yeah.
your way of travel. So they're only supposed to be on momentarily, but they're called docking lights for a reason. When you're docking your boat.
And we get it. We understand. You want to be able to see.
Yeah.
You can argue it both ways. I see it. I see the argument because I can't see nothing. It's dark.
Mhm.
Well, you're going out knowing this.
Yeah.
Okay, so you should know kind of the area you're going to be in.
Yeah.
And if you can't see, don't go too far away from the boat ramp. Stay within. If you're going to go somewhere, another part of the lake, put in somewhere else if you have to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand. I mean, if you get out and it's real foggy or something, like I said, we use common sense. We understand if you need to use it.
Right.
But like Officer Brad was saying, just try your best to use them while you're docking. Scan with them if you have to really use them, but
Yeah.
don't leave them on. Don't leave them on permanently. We got a lot of guys who, as soon as they crank the big motor up, the spotlight goes on. The black lights go on. In the rubber rails,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of that now.
Yep.
That'll go on. I mean, they look cool. I know they do, but they take away. If it drowns out your nav lights, that's the problem with the spotlights. They drown out the nav lights, so you can't see which way I'm traveling. You don't have no clue. You can't see green, red, or all you see is a big spotlight.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be any part of the boat. So just make sure whatever you do, it don't drown out those lights and where they're not noticeable. And the black lights, that's another thing we're getting a lot of. Legally, you can't use them while you're underway. You can use them to fish with. Well, I say underway. If you're floating in general, you're underway. If you're on plane, if you're moving in one direction, you shouldn't have them on. If you're moving with the big motor, because it takes away. It does drown out some of those. It can. If the black lights are going all the way around the rub rail, it could drown out the lights, depending on how bright they are. So it's something to think about. But again, we use common sense. We're not, trying to give people a hard time. We know they use them, they look cool and all that stuff. But we just want you to be safe. That's all we're trying to do is keep people safe.
Right.
I mean, we would rather stop you for that than we would help look for your body later on that night. Explain to your family that you were in an accident. We want to avoid that, even if it means making some people mad.
Right.
We do. It just happens.
Oh yeah.
And with that being said, every year I run across this a lot on Watts Bar. People fishing bass tournaments, I'll drive by them, or you'll see people turn on their lights. They're all around white because they don't like it. Oh, it's attracts bugs. Well, they turn it on and off, or throw their hat over it or something. Guys, I'm telling you, you're just asking for somebody to run right over top of you. That light all around white's got to be on all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
What you got to consider is not just the general boaters or fishermen, the drunk boaters too. I mean, we've been in stops. I observed one of our officers' boat one time doing a BUI, field sobriety, and another individual in another boat literally glanced off the side of our officer's boat. He was drunk. So I mean, if it can happen to us, it can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of people out there drinking and driving boats that don't think that they're intoxicated. I'll ask them, hey, would you drive a car down the road? No, I wouldn't drive a car, but I'll drive this boat.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's.
Well, we've always said that there's no white lines on the water to keep
That's
people
right.
where they need to be.
There's not.
I mean, it's
There's not.
yeah. No turn signals on your boat or nothing
Yep.
like that. I'm gonna make a right-hand turn.
It's all situational. Every boat you pass, you don't know what they're going to do really. They
Yeah.
can go any way.
Oh, that's true. That's
They
true.
could be drunk. They could be sober. Who knows?
Yeah. If you're coming up on behind the boat to pass, you're supposed to pass on the left side. You better make sure you know what's going on.
Absolutely.
Turn right off in front of you. But that's what we're all after is for everybody to have a good time while they're out there and be safe. But there's always some that
Well, a lot of these guys that call in, they've probably been operating a boat longer than I've been alive.
yeah.
But it ain't necessarily them we're worried about.
Right.
It's the other people that haven't. They've been operating a boat for 2 months,
Yeah.
2 days, and don't know the basic stuff. So yeah, anyways, just something to think about. There's so many things we could cover. I mean, I hate to, we can't get to them all, but we just want to, bring light to some things we think are pretty important.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to take a boating safety course in Tennessee. You can actually, most counties are set up where you can study online and then go to your public library and take the test. So
Okay.
it's fairly easy to do.
Are you guys doing that now at certain locations, or is that? Because I got a young man that's needing it.
Yeah, we'll address it after the call.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hello, caller.
Hey, I got another question for the officer or it'd be my right-hand side looking at the TV. Mentioned about the white light. I know when you're anchored, you have to have your white light. If you're bass fishing, working the bank, do you have to have all lights on or just the white light?
All lights. Here's the reason. If you are, let's see, you're underway at all times unless you're anchored, moored, or aground, right? So if you're underway in the state, you have to have those lights on if it's sunset, sunrise, or in bad weather conditions like fog or something, they could say. But yes, and I know that seems kind of ridiculous. I get it. But it's just the
I'm
fact.
sure there's probably a lot of young new bass
Yeah, there
fishermen
is.
that probably doesn't realize that I'll see the white light on, but I won't see the rest of them on.
Exactly.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to, if people are new to boating, we try to give them a break best we can. Because
Yeah.
a lot of people don't know that. It doesn't really,
Yeah.
think about it, maybe it doesn't make that much sense. But if it just goes in with the law. If you're underway, this is the light you need. If you're anchored, this is the light you need. And just to separate it even more would be even more confusing.
Right.
Because technically you can be if you're trolling with a big motor, you're fishing, you got to have your green and red lights on.
Right.
But if you're trolling with a trolling motor, still a motorized, you still have to have your green red. It's like technically you can be boating under the influence with your trolling motor, which seems kind of crazy, but
Yeah.
that's just the law. You can be operating a trolling motor and be arrested for boating under the influence.
Yeah.
So
Maybe some of the young people will be watching the show, and
Yeah, that's a
pick
good
up on
point.
that and everything. I appreciate it.
thank
Sir.
you.
Hey, buddy, thanks for calling, and I'm sure on your boats, probably like mine, it's got a switch for the navigation lights, which gets them all on. Then it's got an anchor light switch.
That's
If
toggle.
Yeah, if you're, it says anchor. If you're anchored out, it's just the
That's
back
a good
light
point.
don't burn.
Exactly, yep.
So,
That's a good
Well,
question.
I'm one of them old guys that the officer mentioned that's older than him that knows this, but some of the young people listening don't know it.
I agree with you, brother. We got to teach them. Got to teach them. That's it. That's how we
appreciate
learn.
you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
sure is. I appreciate it,
Thank you,
buddy.
gentlemen. Appreciate you coming on the show and answering some of the questions for everybody.
Hey,
Thank you.
All right. Good deal. I appreciate you guys coming over too. You're always welcome anytime. But it is. It's a lot of the younger kids. They're not aware of that deal. But when I was growing up and the laws was just coming in and all this kind of stuff, and you had to have your lights on and that kind of thing. And back in the day, you didn't have to have you running lights on the fish.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, sure did.
I had no clue about that.
Yeah, for the first year we fussed and growled and just like he said, bugs about you
Yeah.
said the bugs is all over you and everything,
Yeah.
Brad. But yeah, for years when we'd be fishing at night at Norris, you didn't have to have your lights on.
Really?
If you was running your big motor, you turned your lights on. You got ready to fish, your lights went out.
Yeah.
Because back years ago, it was taboo to have lights on at night. Yeah, you didn't put the flashlight on the bank or nothing. I mean, you went by shadows, and if you turned the light on in the boat, it was looking down in the
Yeah.
boat. You didn't, but that all changed in the '70s and late '70s and early '80s, and now we got light up everything. So, but yeah, I don't remember when that law was put in. You had to have your night lights on, but for years
couldn't
we
tell you
never.
when it was.
We just had them on when we was running.
Yeah. That's all I've ever known.
Yeah,
Is
see,
having
you're a lot younger than I
That's
am,
it, I
so
don't know.
it was always that way,
You
that's
hate
all
you
knew.
hate saying this, but if people had see what we see when we work a
a
boating
good point.
accident,
Mm-hmm.
your boating ideas would change.
Yeah.
Because when I love to fish and I have a boat, and when you work a boat accident and then you get out to enjoy yourself, you don't even want to get nowhere near another boat. But it's amazing how fast a boating accident can occur.
Wow.
And that's why you got to be prepared. That's why a life jacket is supposed to be readily available.
Mm-hmm.
And how important it is for kids to be in a life jacket at all times.
Right.
And so it can turn tragic in a matter of seconds.
I wouldn't wish it on nobody to see some of the things that we've had to see.
Yeah.
And when you have children and you have children involved in accidents, like Brad said, it really changes your perspective on just life in general, but yeah, definitely boating. And I mean, people think these laws are crazy and we're just, being mean and trying